Now I made a promise, before I disappeared, that I would make a castle. Now I wish to make do on that promise, and here it is. I'm going to give you guys the run through and we'll go from there. So before we begin, I'm just going to take you on a quick little tour here of the place. I'm going to go through the front gate here. Have a nice little walkway leading over to the side wall there. Covered gate over there. Let's go through the main entrance. Here's the main entryway, which will lead to whatever you want to use this room for. It could be like a barracks or, you know, your room. Though I feel like your room would be on the upstairs here. This door will take you out to the wall. We'll go up again, another flight of stairs up to this room. This is the main middle room to the top floor, which will take you out to that little overlook here at the front gate. Then off to the side here is the main room with the windows and whatnot. And then one last room we have to go up to, well, not necessarily a room, is the next level, or we can look out again even higher up. And then this is the only way up to this part of the rooftop, which you can see just about everywhere on this side. And then to access the very top of the tower, we have to continue up, of course. And there we have it. They're all connected, just like that. So, without further ado, let us begin building this. Now, because of the complexity of the floor plan being the most important part, I'm not going to mention too many numbers on the tower parts. I will have numbers here on the screen, so I suggest that you do pause it just so you get the floor plan correct. That being said, I will mention some of the longer spots and we'll go from there. So the first part of the build we're going to begin with is the entryway to the castle. Then from this entryway we're going to have a diagonal wall just to give the castle a little more shape in sets of 2s, a total of 6 times. This will connect up to the other wall, or the other tower. Now I'm using intermittent andesite on the corners here. This just allows me to place the andesite bricks a little bit easier and also helpful for you guys as well to see it. Then this next wall goes over 11 times, which will connect to the same blueprint of the other tower we just placed. Now another wall we're going to go over a total of 12 times, which will come to an andesite brick. Then 5 times, a brick, then another 5 times, and then we're going to go over 2 times, and now we are going to go down the whole way of 20 more times from that corner, and then we're going to round it to a 3, a 2, a 1, back to 2 and 3, and it should link up like that. Now for the castle itself, we're going to start with those middle andesite bricks. This will be easier to work with. We're going to do that a total of 5 times through the brick, and then 3 times another brick, 3 more times. And then we're going to do a set of 5 across where the gate is. It should be evenly lined up with the gate. Then 3, 3, we're just mirroring the other side. Now for the large tower, we're going to go over, it should be a 5x5, I should say. And then the keep itself will be in the middle of the first set of 3, and it will go over a total of 7 times. And then back a total of 9 times. It should be 1 gap away from the wall. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of a thickness to the wall just so we can walk on the outside of it. And as you can see at this point, I skipped where the building is because we don't need it there, and I'm just going to continue around the rest of the way. Now for a floor of your choice, I'm going to use stone bricks, but then I'm going to use the magic of World Edit to add in a bit of variation with mossy stone brick and cracked stone brick afterwards. Now to begin fleshing out the castle, we're going to start with the first floor, and we're going to start with all the andesite spots, and we're going to build it up a total of 6 times. And then in between the andesite that we just placed on top of the tuff, we're going to place the same height of stone bricks all the way around. So when you're done placing your stone bricks, you should have all the walls enclosed, and where the keep is, it should be 2 layers of stone brick thick. So for the gates, or the entrance to the castle, we're going to carve out the very front door, 3 wide and 3 tall. And then once we get to the keep, we're going to carve out it's a lot easier to do it from the interior of the keep, but it's going to be from the very center, and it's going to be 3 wide by 3 tall again, or 1 over from this andesite brick. And then the tower door is going to be not here, but 1 set over right there from the andesite brick. This will allow us to go upstairs. And then once you've gone ahead and made the door outlets, we're going to go ahead and fill in the top floor with all oak planks, or at least in my case oak planks, but we're not going to do the little tower side yet. So once we get to the tower staircase, now mind you, this might look a little different than the first recording because I made a mistake and I didn't like how it looked on the aerial sort of view, and I figured a close-up would be better here. So to do the staircase going up the tower, we're going to go through the door and place our first set of stairs right there, and then a brick, and then another staircase right there. Now for the very center, we're going to build a tower of andesite all the way to the top, just like that. And now we're going to keep going up every so often like this, around the corners, so that our staircases are now at the height of where the oak planks would be to the next level of the floor. Now again, this looks a lot different, as I've already completed it, but I wanted to get a closer view. So before we're done with the staircases, we're going to add our staircase underneath here just to fill it out. But in fact, you could go ahead and just do the bricks all the way around until we get to the front side here. And then once we start building up higher, we will no longer have the brick option. But then to fill it in, to cramp it up a bit more, we're going to add in our oak logs, stripped oak logs, all the way up and down like this. And then just above the door, we want to go a little bit higher, otherwise we'll be banging our heads and unable to move. We're going to keep going up all the way around. So now we're going to continue with the keep, and we're going to keep building up. And we're going to build up a total of 11 more blocks from the height of the floor already. And then we're going to fill in with stone bricks all the way around. And then once you get to the middle floor, we're going to build that up a total of 7 more times from the floor already given at the andesite bricks. And then again, we're going to fill in all the way around with more stone bricks. And now for the tower, we're going to start on the outside and build up a total of 14 times, just to make it a little bit easier. And then we'll finish it up on with the interior parts afterwards, just matching the height. And again, fill it in with stone bricks. And then one last thing, you can go ahead and fill in the top layer of everything but the tallest tower with oak planks or a floor of your choice. So now we need to add doors to the upper floor. So on the first part, we're going to cut out a 3x3 on the overlooking gate wall. And then for the keep room, we're going to cut out dead center right here in the point, the same width as the other door, a 3x3. I'm going to go in there and fill in with some lights just so I can see, or so you guys can see as well. And then we're going to need a corner door here to have access to the wall. And now we need one more door for access to the tower so we can get up here. And we're going to do that, not there, but one more over so that the stairs line up to the adjacent part, or so the stairs are adjacent, I should say, with the first floor, or the second floor. So now that we're back at the extra tower, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this close up. So we're going to take our andesite and build all the way to the height of the structure. And then we're going to take our stone brick staircases, and this is what I wanted to zoom in on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start placing these upside down, because otherwise we will not have any room to run. And we're just going to do this gradually all the way up. And then once you're at the very top, we can go ahead and bring up all the oakwood logs to match the height as well. So now we need access from the middle platform, and we're going to do that by carving a hole into the tallest tower, 1 block over from the andesite, and then to have access to the highest point of the keep, to avoid any more weird staircases, we're going to add just a simple ladder system right dead center of the tallest part. Alright, so this build has been pretty straightforward up until probably right about now. This is where we're going to start adding life to the castle with some tedious details. So I'm going to add some support beams here along the andesite, And then I'm just going to add some more little bits of pieces here and there just to make it look like the stone is being supported, but also giving it that much needed depth. Now you don't have to follow this exactly unless you want the castle to look the same, but just add little bits of here and there along the bottom part of the castle just to break away from the flat wall that we will have otherwise. So what I'm doing is just adding bits of brick here, bits of brick there, and then the staircases just to kind of go into the wall, so like they're 2 high. The other one was 4 high, and then adding some support with the oak fences around, again, just to break up the gray texture. And I'm pretty much doing the same sort of design all the way around. Then once you get to this big face wall, again, we're just going to start adding some bricks here and there, but evenly spaced as best as we can, as some of these designs won't allow it. And then of course at the andesite, usually just a little bit higher. Where this is the keep, having it higher will look better, as it does look like it needs more support than the rest of the structure. So now we're going to start detailing the upper portions of the castle with andesite staircases upside down on all the andesite, and then we're going to take out our stone bricks and have them spaced one further away but one lower as well. So on top of all the andesite, we're going to place andesite blocks, and then on top of these stone brick stairs we will use stone bricks but going up 2 times instead of just once. And then in between all the gaps, we're going to place oak fences. And then on top of all the oak fences, we're going to place our stone brick slabs. Then I'll say this one more time, because we're going to do this on all the towers, so I probably shouldn't have to show all of it. But here on the middle portion, we're going to place our andesite staircases upside down. And then the stone brick staircases one over, a space of 1 and 1 lower. And then having that same pattern, we're going to place the stone bricks on the top going up twice, and then the andesite bricks on top of the andesite stairs, and then the oak fences with the slabs in between. Now we're going to go ahead and do that to the rest of the building. So once we get to the windows, I'm going to have to do a little bit of a first-person view, just like we'll have to do interior as first-person view. But to start the windows, we're going to go up here on the 2nd floor. Then we're going to go into this main room here. And we're going to go to the far corner. So to start, we're just going to take our stripped oak logs from top to bottom all the way down here in the corner. And then from there, we're going to break a total of, well, from 3 over of the stone bricks on both sides, just like this. I'm going to do that a total of 4 tall, like that. Then here in the center, we're going to place, or not in the center, but on flanking sides, we're going to put the oak logs straight up, then put a pair of oak staircases right there in the center. So now that we get on the outside, we're going to place our stone brick andesite staircases upside down like this. We're going to bring this all the way up, the oak logs, and then have one crossing beam there in the center. Then here at the top, we're going to have this a total of 3 tall here. Then we're going to place our staircases facing inwards, 1 upside down in the center, 1 on top like that, then the iron bars all the way up in the center, and we'll finish off with the trapdoors, or 3 trapdoors on both sides. And then I said we'll finish up with the oak logs, just to give it a little more color to look at here at the front. So I'm going to do the same thing for this window, but just to clean up the inside, we'll take our oak logs all the way up like this, break the top 3, and then just finish off the trim like that. So we're going to do the same thing for this one. Now we're going to continue here because there's a 3rd window, and that's going to be right here, 1 higher, and we're going to go up a total of 3 times here. We're going to place the oak logs on the top though, because this needs to be a little bit higher just because of the dimensions of the build. We're going to place 1 crossing log like that. So now we're going to go on the outside, and instead of placing the andesite stair below, we're going to place it right on that log. The reason being is there's a staircase that will be coming up from the wall here, and it's already very tight as it is, and we want to be careful otherwise you won't be able to make it up to the door. That aside, let's go ahead and finish this by building up to. We're going to place a slab here, right there in the center. We're going to place our iron bars too tall like that, and a pair of trapdoors like so. Then the oak stairs like this, like the other windows, similar to the other ones. Then I'm going to clean up the inside just like the other windows. And then there is one more window, similar to this one, but a little different. It's only too tall, however. We'll break the bottom, or we'll break the bottom 3, the middle 3, and then we'll do one more set of 3. We might have to do one more, but we'll start with that. Just because of how low this one is, we're a little limited on space. So we're going to place them like the logs like the other windows, and then we're going to have our andesite stairs underneath. We're going to build up a total of 3 times like that. And then we're a little tight on space now, but we're going to do the same thing as the other windows, just like that. Put a log there in the cross, 2 iron bars, and again, now we're just finishing up all like the other windows. So the next window, or pair of windows, are on the tower here, and they're mostly just for looks, because we're a little cramped on space in here. In fact, it's very dark. So let me grab some torches just so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go up. Actually, we're going to place one here because we're going to be very limited on space as it is. And we're going to place a staircase right side up and then one upside down. Then we'll place a pair of trapdoors right there. Then we're going to continue a little bit further up the staircase, and we'll do that again. I reckon right about here should be good. In fact, that's a little close to the other side, but that's fine. It'll give it a little more of something to look at. I'm going to place a pair of spruce trapdoors just like that. And if you don't like the lineup like that, we could put them on the other side, but then you have this weird little gap. It's up to you on how you want to do that. But I'm actually happy with that look right there. And if you want to add a few more of these, you can just find little spots on the stairs. Just remember not to put anything here because we'll be adding the wall in afterwards. So before we move on to the wall, I'm going to show you what I used for textures here. I used stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, andesite, and stone. Now, if you're building a survival, this would probably be a little more tedious to do, but if you're in creative mode, I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and then I'm going to take another position here at the top. Oh, and now the next thing we're going to do is replace all the stone brick with a mixture of those materials. So I'm going to use the magic of world edit here, and we're going to do 60% of the stone brick. We'll do only 5%, I believe is what I chose for this. Actually, no, we'll do 10% of the cracked stone brick. Then we'll do 15% of the andesite, and then 15% of the stone. Now you can change the numbers a little bit, but it helps break up that little stone brick texture, and you could always reduce the stone as well. And we'll do this to the wall, but of course I'm going to build it with the stone brick first, as the majority of you will be building probably with just one material. So before we move back to the aerial view, we're going to build in the doors, and we'll add in that one little bit of extra exterior detail around the large tower there. So to do the doors, in survival mode, if you have annoying friends, this is probably the worst thing you can do, but for aesthetics, I'm going to go ahead and do the trapdoors, or the spruce trapdoors around like this. We're going to crouch here, place it like that on both sides, if I can get this right. Then we're going to place one there on top, which is a little bit trickier. There we go. And then the doorway will have to stand on the outside and place like that. So I'm going to do this for that door, and then one for this door. Once you have those doors done, now we can go ahead and do this little bit of fine detail right here. And for the logs around the tower, they're not necessary, they just kind of add a little more embellishments or a feeling of support. You can do this higher or lower depending on where you want them to go. But the best thing that I did was I had them evenly spaced of 1 like this, and I just went around the entirety of the building. And then underneath I just gave it a little more depth to look at by placing the oak wood fences. So now we're going to start raising up the walls. So wherever there is an andesite brick in the ground, we're going to raise that a total of 4 times. And then just for clarity's sake, I filled in underneath the towers and put a oak post in the center and raised it to the same height. Now we're going to go around the entirety of the building on the outermost layer of the tuff and raise it a total of 4 times with the stone bricks. So once you have raised the entire outer wall a total of 4 times, including the gatehouse portion that I'm doing right now, we're going to raise the inner part of the tuff to a total of 3 times. So you should have the outer and the inner wall being separated by 1 block, or a difference of height in 1 block. And we're going to do that all the way around. Then on top of the 3-high wall, we're going to place the oak planks, or whatever floor of your choice would be. We're just going to wrap that all the way around so that we have something to walk on. And then one last thing for the wall, we're going to go to the back side here to the door so we can get in there. We got to raise the wall a little bit, so I'm going to come out 4 times in total on the first part, and then a total of 2 times on the closest part to the door. And I'm going to place 2 staircases going up, just so we have a gradual way into the building. And this is where the concern with the window was, but it actually worked out just fine. Then for the middle gate, or the very front entrance, we're going to cut out a 3x3 in both the front and the back. And then for some reason, something that got cut out, we're going to have a pair of staircases pointing in towards each other on all the doors, including this one. So now for the towers, we're going to raise them a total of 4 times, but we're going to go in 1 block from all the andesite just to match it up. And then for the second tower, we're going to go up a total of 8 times, again going in 1 block, and then filling the rest in with stone brick. Except for over the doors, we want a gap of 3 tall. Then on the very top, a floor of your choice, I just continued to use oak planks. Now we need to bring a little life to the wall itself. So to do that, we're going to start off by adding a little bit of the stone, of single layer of stone to the bottom wall all the way around, just like that. And then like we've done for the rest of the castle, we're just going to add the crenellations all around the wall with a spacing of 1 and the slabs with fences in between. So it's pretty much just rinse and repeat what we've already done, and we're just going to do that all the way around. And we're also going to do that to the tower tops of both of them. And then just to kind of shorten this up a bit, on the towers there's no easy accessible way to have a staircase to go that way. I suppose you could, but it'd be too cramped. So all I did for the towers was I just put a ladder in the most convenient spots. But this is all we'll be doing for the majority of the wall. Actually, it is pretty much the rest of the wall, minus the little bit of the covered wall that I'll be addressing later on. And then one more little minor detail for the gatehouse. I'm just going to add in what the road would look like, which would be tough. And then of course the spruce trapdoors and the spruce door in the center, just like that. Now that we're on the final home stretch here of this build, we're going to go ahead and do the little covered portion of the wall right over here. And to do that, we're going to start, so when we get past this corner, we're going to go over 2 at this brick here, break it. We're going to stay with this staircase. We're going to go up 2 here in the front, and then on the adjacent side we're going to come out just below the wood. We're going to go up a total of 4 times like that, so they're 1 higher. But we want this to be at least 3 lengths long, so I'm going to do that with a gap of 3 here, and then another gap of 3 right here. And then we're just going to do 4 tall and 2 in the front. Now, this is a little bit of a cramped item here, and you can raise it. The reason why I kept it lower is more or less for photo aesthetics. I didn't want it to be too tall to, impede upon the view of the castle. So, to continue with the roof part, I'm going to place the staircases down like this on the fronts, then also the backs. Then I'm going to take my oak slabs and I'm going to start there in the center, and I'm just going to gradually build up a total of 2 like that. And then we're going to follow one lower there on the side. And then I'm just simply going to drag these across the entirety of the way. And then again, we're just going to build it up like this. And then one lower right there. And again, we're just now going to fill the top portion in. And in fact, we're actually not going to need these ones in the front, nor the ones in the rear. I suppose if you wanted to add a little more depth on the back side, you could just do this, like that, stretching the way across. And just to give it that little extra feel of support, I suppose you could have left the staircases like that. And then one last thing, just to give this a little more appeal, I'm going to place intermittently one set higher, just to give it a little more depth in view. So there's your covered side of the wall done. And in fact, the wall is done, except I guess we could do one more little thing, and that'd be the staircase. I usually put it on this side just to access the wall. I'm going to do too wide. I'm just going to take stone and go all the way up just till we get to the point where we can access the wall. So I'm going to go up like this. Then I'm going to make this too wide as well. And there we go. We now have access to the wall. Oh, and there is one last little thing. If we want to have access to the tower side here, just make sure we open this up like that. And we should have a staircase right here at this point if you follow along. And then we just have a staircase go up like that. And now we are out. I'll place this upside down staircase right there on the side. And if you want to decorate this a little bit more, feel free to. I'm just going to do something very simple. I'm just going to take these oak fences. I'm going to build up twice. Make it look like it's holding the lantern right there. In fact, I should probably go a little bit higher. That seems a little low. Right there. And now for the absolute last part of the build. That is the interior. I'm not going to decorate it. All I'm going to do is clean it up. So what I did here is I put logs on the opposing corners just like this on all four sides. Then I had a log come right down here in the center. Then at intermittent portions of the wall, I had it come into the center log, so I went and spaced it 2. Then I'm going to go on the opposite side just to make sure everything's perfect. Space it 2. And then this one's fine. I'm going to go over here, space of 2, and then again. And then we're going to have to break some of these torches now. And I'm going to place the upside down staircase here, here, and then of course there. I'm going to put a torch there, lantern in the center of that one, and in the center of that one. And again, we're just dressing this up to make it look like it's being supported. Then once you get to the large room, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring them down and bring the logs down in all the corners. And then for this one, I'm going to have the log go across the center again as well. You could do a crisscross here also, which I might, just to give it a little more look at here in the roof. And then we're going to give the staircases here and there just to now support the beams that we've added. And then likewise here in the center, I'm just going to place a lantern. This might be a little dark for mobs, so you might want to add some more here and there, wherever you think would look best, so I'm just going to span them out like that for now. Now here on the second floor, we're going to go ahead and put a door here, as we didn't have that to begin with. And actually, on this corner, we're going to place an upside down staircase first, and then the door. And now for this room, we're going to follow that same philosophy with the logs in the corners, except for this one, as of course it would block the door and we wouldn't be able to get out on that end. So once you've put the logs up in the corners, we're going to have the same thing come down the center, another log right down the middle here. And then we'll have evenly spaced logs on both sides going across the center. In this case, I did 2 spaces again, just like the bottom. And then again, across the top entirely. And then where the logs meet the walls, it's the best place to put the staircases. And we can do that in multiple areas as well. And then for the final bit of detail here in the major room, we're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to have the logs crisscross at the top. And now we're going to support those logs that we just placed. And then add corresponding staircases at the corner points like this. And now, of course, we're not going to have torches placed everywhere. I'm going to do 2 chains here in the center, and then 1 here on the side like that. Then we can have the different level of torches like that dangling down. And if this room is too dark, I'm just going to add a little makeshift torch here on the side, or lantern. Probably want to make it at least 3 tall so that you can step underneath it without banging your head like that. I'm going to do that on both sides. Again, you might want to change this in case of mob spawnings, but this works just for this, as these can kind of get in the way. And barring any other little extra details like the pathway within the walls, we are done. And that is that. A promise delivered. It only took about 4 or 5 years, but here it is, the castle, for you. But I understand, and I hope, that this wasn't too tough, as it did get a little rough when we started to get to the details. I didn't do all of the details because it would have been a bit of a pain, but I did the majority of them. Now, that being said, I hope you guys did like the video, and if you did, please leave a like or a subscribe just to let me know, and even a comment below. It does help the channel grow. So, with all that said, until next time, see you later.